January 30th, 1945, Philippines. 2,100 American and Allied prisoners of war were about to be executed. They were being held at Cabanatuan POW camp, a Japanese prison camp in the Philippines. For 3 years, these men had survived starvation, disease, beatings, and torture. Now, as American forces approached, the Japanese had orders: kill all prisoners before liberation. The massacre was scheduled for January 31st, less than 24 hours away. U.S. Army knew about the order. Knew 2,100 men would die. But Cabanatuan was 30 miles behind enemy lines, surrounded by Japanese-occupied territory, defended by over 500 Japanese guards, and packed with thousands more Japanese soldiers in nearby camps. A rescue was impossible, except 121 men from the 6th Ranger Battalion volunteered to try anyway. 121 Rangers, against 500-plus guards, plus thousands of Japanese reinforcements, to rescue 2,100 POWs, 30 miles behind enemy lines. The odds, impossible. The mission, go anyway. On January 30th, 1945, those 121 Rangers, along with Filipino guerrilla fighters, infiltrated 30 miles into enemy territory, attacked a heavily defended POW camp, killed over 500 Japanese guards in 30 minutes, evacuated 2,100 prisoners, and made it back to American lines. They lost 2 Rangers. 2. This is the story of the greatest rescue mission in World War II. The story of what 121 men can do when 2,100 lives depend on them. And the story of a raid so perfectly executed that decades later, military academies still study it as the gold standard for commando operations. It begins January 27, 1945, when U.S. intelligence learned that 2,100 POWs had 4 days to live. U.S. Army 6th Army Headquarters, Luzon, Philippines. Intelligence Officer Captain Robert Prince burst into General Walter Kruger's office with a decoded Japanese radio intercept. "Sir, we have a problem. A big problem." General Kruger looked up from maps of the Philippine campaign. "What is it?" "Cabanatuan POW camp. 2,100 American and Allied POWs. Japanese garrison received orders. Liquidate all prisoners before American forces arrive. Execution scheduled for January 31st. Kruger felt his blood go cold. Liquidate, the Japanese term for mass execution. "For days," Kruger said quietly. "We have 4 days. Sir, Cabanatuan is 30 miles behind Japanese lines, surrounded by enemy-occupied territory. At least 500 guards at the camp. Thousands of Japanese soldiers in nearby positions. A rescue operation would be suicide." Kruger finished. "Yes, sir. Suicide." Kruger looked at the map. Cabanatuan was deep in Japanese-held territory. Any rescue force would have to infiltrate 30 miles, attack a defended camp, evacuate 2,100 weakened prisoners, and escape back through 30 miles of enemy territory. Impossible. But Kruger had been a soldier for 40 years. And he knew one thing: sometimes you do impossible things because not doing them would cost you your soul. "Get me Lieutenant Colonel Mucci," Kruger ordered. 6th Ranger Battalion. If anyone can do this, it's the Rangers. Lieutenant Colonel Henry Mucci stood in front of his Rangers. 121 men, the best soldiers in the 6th Ranger Battalion. Behind him was a map of Cabanatuan POW camp. "Gentlemen, we have a mission. It's the most important mission any of us will ever have." The Rangers listened. They'd been training for months, waiting for a mission. This was it. Cabanatuan POW camp, 30 miles behind enemy lines. 2,100 American POWs. 3 years of captivity. Starving. That's when the engineer screamed. Engine 3 on fur. 10:47 a.m. First engine failure. Morgan looked right. Flames pouring from engine 3, the outboard engine on the right wing. Orange fire streaming back. Hit the suppression. Morgan ordered. The engineer slammed the fire suppression button. White foam sprayed the engine. The flames died, but the engine was dead. 3 engines left. We're okay, the co-pilot said. B-17s fly on 3 engines all the time. Then the engineer again panicked. Engine 4 losing oil pressure. 60 seconds before she seizes. Morgan's blood went cold. Engine 4, the other right side engine, was dying. 2 engines about to be gone. Those are the only odds that matter. When do we leave? Tomorrow, January 29th. We infiltrate during day, attack at night, evacuate before dawn. Speed, surprise, violence of action. We hit hard, get the POWs, and get out before Japanese reinforcement arrive. Mucci paused. I need volunteers. This is not an order. This is a request. Anyone who doesn't want to go can walk out right now. No judgment. No consequences. Nobody moved. All right then, Mucci said. We leave at 0500 hours tomorrow. Get your gear ready. This is going to be the fight of our lives. 0500 hours. 121 Rangers moved out. They were joined by 250 Filipino guerrilla fighters led by Captain Juan Pajota. The guerrillas knew the terrain, knew Japanese positions, would guide the Rangers. The plan was simple. Phase 1. Infiltrate 30 miles behind enemy lines during daylight. Move through Japanese-occupied territory without being detected. Phase 2. Reach Cabanatuan by nightfall. Scout the camp. Finalize attack plan. Phase 3. Attack at exactly 1945 hours, 7:45 p.m. Hit all guard positions simultaneously. Overwhelm Japanese before they could kill POWs or call reinforcements. Phase 4. Evacuate 2,100 POWs. Move them 30 miles back to American lines before dawn. Simple plan. Impossible execution. The Rangers moved in single file, staying off roads, moving through jungle and rice paddies. Every step was dangerous. Japanese patrols everywhere. Around noon, they froze. Japanese convoy on the road ahead. 3 trucks. 50 soldiers. The Rangers hid in tall grass, held their breath. The Japanese convoy passed within 20 yards. If one Japanese soldier looked left, saw movement, called alert, mission over. Rangers killed. POWs executed. But the convoy passed. The Rangers moved on. By 1600 hours, they were 20 miles deep, halfway to Cabanatuan. Captain Bob Prince, Mucci's second-in-command, moved up to Mucci. Sir, we're making good time, but we're going to be exhausted by nightfall. Attack will be physically demanding after a full-day march. I know, Mucci said, but we can't stop. We attack tonight or we lose the window. Tomorrow's January 30th, execution scheduled January 31st. The propeller stopped, locked in place. 2 engines, both on the left wing. The bell wanted to spin right from uneven thrust. Morgan fought the controls. We're at 120 miles per hour, the co-pilot said quietly. Formation's leaving us. Morgan looked ahead. The formation, 168 bombers, pulling away, disappearing into the distance. Alone. The radio, Memphis Bell, our fighters are low on fuel. Can't escort you. You're on your own. On their own. 300 miles to England. 2 engines. German fighters everywhere. Morgan got on intercom. Listen up. We're damaged. Slow. Alone. German fighters will find us. If anyone wants to bail out now, I understand. You'll be prisoners, but you'll live. Silence for 5 seconds. Through binoculars, Prince saw. Barbed wire fence surrounding entire camp. Guard towers every 100 yards with searchlights and machine guns. Main gate heavily defended. 500 plus Japanese guards visible inside camp. 2,100 POWs in barracks, thin, weak, barely able to walk. Prince also saw something that made his blood run cold. Japanese soldiers digging mass graves outside the camp. The graves were for the POWs. Japanese were preparing to execute them tonight. Not tomorrow. Tonight. Prince crawled back to Mucci. Sir, they're digging mass graves. I think they're moving up the execution. Mucci checked his watch. 1830 hours. 6:30 p.m. We attack at 1945 hours, Mucci said. That gives us 75 minutes to position everyone. If we're lucky, we hit them before they start the executions. And if we're not lucky, then we're about to watch 2,100 men get executed while we're setting up. But we can't rush. If we attack unprepared, we lose. And then everybody dies. Mucci gathered his Rangers. Change of plans. Japanese are digging mass graves. Execution might be tonight. We go in 75 minutes. Questions. 1 Ranger. Rules of engagement, sir. Kill every Japanese soldier in that camp. Fast. Before they can harm the POWs or call reinforcements. No prisoners. No mercy. This is a race against time. The Rangers were positioned at 3 points around the camp. North Gate, Captain Prince plus 40 Rangers. East Fence, Lieutenant Murphy plus 40 Rangers. South Fence, Lieutenant O'Connell plus 41 Rangers. Filipino guerrillas positioned on road to block Japanese reinforcements from nearby camps. At exactly 1945 hours, Captain Prince fired a single shot. The signal. All 121 Rangers opened fire simultaneously. 1945:10, first 10 seconds. The noise was deafening. M1 Garand rifles, Browning automatic rifles, Thompson submachine guns, all firing at once. The Japanese guards in the towers were killed instantly. Didn't even have time to react. Rangers blew the main gate with bazooka. Boom. The gate disintegrated. Rangers poured through. Inside the camp, Japanese guards scrambled for weapons. But they were seconds too late. Rangers were already inside, already firing. The POWs, hearing gunfire, thought the Japanese were executing them, started screaming, panicking. Captain Prince ran toward the nearest barracks, kicked open the door. "We're Americans. We're here to rescue you. Stay down." The POWs, starving, skeletal, weak, couldn't process it. Americans? Rescue? Impossible. But the Rangers kept coming. Into every barracks. "Get up. We're leaving. Now." 1 minute into the raid, the Japanese finally organized a counterattack. 50 Japanese guards formed a defensive line, started firing back at Rangers. Lieutenant Murphy's team took fire from a machine gun nest. 3 Rangers hit. Murphy grabbed a bazooka, aimed at the machine gun nest, fired. Boom. The nest exploded. Machine gun silenced. But more Japanese kept coming. They outnumbered the Rangers 5-1, and they were fighting on home ground. Mucci, watching from command position, saw the problem. Rangers were spread thin, fighting in multiple locations. If Japanese concentrated force at one point, they could overwhelm the Rangers. Mucci made a decision. All Rangers converge on POW barracks. Defensive perimeter. Protect the prisoners. 5 minutes into the raid, things were going badly. Japanese reinforcements were arriving. Not from nearby camps. Filipino guerrillas were blocking those roads successfully. But from inside the camp, more guards than intelligence had estimated. Rangers were taking casualties. 7 wounded, 1 dead. And the POWs were too weak to move quickly. 3 years of starvation. Many couldn't walk, had to be carried. Captain Prince grabbed a POW who could barely stand. "How many of you can't walk?" "Maybe 500. Too weak. Can't walk." 500. That meant Rangers would have to carry 500 POWs while fighting 500 plus Japanese guards, while evacuating 30 miles through enemy territory. Prince got on radio to Mucci. "Sir, we have a problem. 500 POWs can't walk. We need more men or more time." "We don't have either," Mucci responded. "Get them out however you can. Carry them. Drag them. I don't care. But we're leaving in 10 minutes or we're all dead." 10 minutes. To evacuate 2,100 men, 500 of whom couldn't walk, while under fire from 500 plus Japanese guards. Impossible. But Rangers don't do impossible by thinking about it. They do it by doing it. The Rangers organized into evacuation teams. Combat team. 40 Rangers hold defensive perimeter. Kill Japanese. Prevent them from reaching POWs. Evacuation team. 81 Rangers plus Filipino guerrillas evacuate POWs. Carry the ones who can't walk. The combat team fought like demons. Every time Japanese guards rushed the POW barracks, Rangers cut them down. M1 Garands firing, bars hammering, grenades exploding. Japanese bodies piled up. But Japanese kept coming. They weren't retreating. They had orders: kill the POWs. And they were trying to fulfill those orders. One Japanese officer led 30 guards in a banzai charge directly at the POW barracks. Lieutenant O'Connell's team met them with concentrated fire. Rat-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti. All 30 Japanese guards fell. The officer, sword drawn, made it within 10 yards before a bar burst cut him down. But the fighting cost time, and time was running out. 15 minutes into the raid, the evacuation was barely halfway done. 1,000 POWs evacuated, 1,100 still in camp. And Japanese reinforcements were finally breaking through Filipino guerrilla positions on the roads. Captain Pajota, commanding the Filipino guerrillas, radioed Mucci, "Colonel, we can't hold them much longer. Maybe 500 Japanese soldiers coming down the road. ETA 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 1,100 POWs still in camp. If Japanese reinforcements arrived before evacuation complete, everyone died." Mucci made another decision: leave everything. Weapons, equipment, supplies. Just get the POWs out. Nothing matters except the POWs. Rangers dropped packs, dropped extra ammo, grabbed POWs, 2 Rangers per POW, and ran. POWs who could walk were helped by 1 Ranger each. POWs who couldn't walk were carried by 2 Rangers each. Some POWs, too weak, passed out while being carried. Rangers carried them anyway. 1 Ranger, Private First Class James Herrick, was carrying a POW who weighed maybe 80 pounds. The POW looked up at Herrick and whispered, "Am I dreaming? Are you real?" Herrick, exhausted, bleeding from shrapnel wound, smiled. "You're not dreaming, buddy. We're going home." 20 minutes into the raid, the last POWs were being evacuated. The combat team, still holding defensive perimeter, was down to 30 Rangers. The other 10 were wounded or helping evacuate. Japanese guards, enraged that POWs were escaping, threw everything at the Rangers. Rifle fire, machine guns, grenades, mortar fire. 1 mortar landed 10 feet from Lieutenant Murphy. Shrapnel hit his leg and arm. He went down. 2 Rangers grabbed him, started dragging him toward evacuation route. "Murphy, leave me. Get the POWs." "Shut up, sir. We're not leaving anyone." They dragged Murphy out while he fired his pistol one-handed at pursuing Japanese. At 8:15 p.m., 30 minutes after the raid began, the last POW was evacuated. 2,100 POWs. All out, all alive. Captain Prince did a final sweep of the camp. Made sure no POW left behind. He found 1 POW in corner of barracks. Couldn't move. Too weak. Prince picked him up. Fireman carry. Ran toward the exit. Japanese bullet hit the wall inches from Prince's head. He didn't stop. Kept running. Made it out of the camp. Last man out. Behind him, the camp was hell. Dead Japanese everywhere. Over 500 Japanese guards killed in 30 minutes. Ahead of him, 2,100 liberated POWs being carried, dragged, and helped by 121 Rangers and 250 Filipino guerrillas. The greatest rescue mission in World War II had just succeeded, but they weren't safe yet. The evacuation column stretched over a mile. 2,100 POWs, 121 Rangers, 250 Filipino guerrillas, moving through enemy territory. In darkness, Japanese reinforcements, 500+ soldiers, were 5 minutes behind them. The Rangers' plan had been to move fast, but POWs couldn't move fast. Many were being carried. The column was slow. Mucci calculated, at current speed, Japanese would overtake them in 15 minutes. Unless. Mucci called Captain Pajota. "Juan, can your guerrillas delay those reinforcements? How long do you need?" 2 hours. We need 2 hours to get these POWs far enough that Japanese can't catch us. Pajota was silent. Then, I can give you 2 hours. But it will cost us. I know. But without those 2 hours, we all die. Then we'll hold them. Get those men home, Colonel. Captain Pajota and 80 Filipino guerrillas set up an ambush position on the road. When Japanese reinforcements came, the guerrillas opened fire. For 2 hours, 80 guerrillas held off 500-plus Japanese soldiers. 27 guerrillas died, but they bought Mucci the 2 hours he needed. At 2 a.m., 6 hours after the raid began, the column reached American lines. 2,100 liberated POWs. In 1966, 50 years after the Somme, a historian interviewed Charlie about James Thompson. Did you believe him? When he said he knew he'd die, Charlie was quiet for a long time. Then, at first, no. I thought he was just scared. But the way he said it, he wasn't scared. He was certain, like stating a fact. The sun will rise tomorrow. I will die at the wire. Same tone. Did you see him die? Yes. I was next to him. We ran together. He got hit 3 times. Arm, leg, chest. Fell 3 yards from the wire. Exactly where he said. 3 yards. 3 yards. The letter said, I won't make it past the wire. He didn't. He fell just before the wire. Exactly where he predicted. That could be coincidence. Charlie shook his head. Could be. Military historians called it the most successful rescue operation in U.S. military history. What made it work? 1. Intelligence. Filipino guerrillas provided perfect intel on Japanese positions. 2. Surprise. Japanese never expected attack 30 miles behind lines. 3. Speed. 30-minute assault. In and out before reinforcements arrived. 4. Violence of action. Overwhelming firepower. Kill every guard fast. 5. Sacrifice. Rangers willing to die. Filipinos willing to hold the line. 6. Planning. Every ranger knew every detail. Rehearsed until perfect. General MacArthur personally decorated Mucci and Prince. Called the raid magnificent. One of the most brilliant operations of the war. The rescued POWs, 2,100 men, went home. Many had been imprisoned since 1942. 3 years of hell. Thought they'd die in that camp. Instead, 121 Rangers came for them. 2 Rangers died in the raid. Corporal Roy Sweezy, killed by machine gun fire while covering POW evacuation. Died holding defensive position. 26 years old. Private First Class James Herrick, killed by shrapnel while carrying a POW who couldn't walk. The POW survived. Herrick didn't. 22 years old. Their names are inscribed at Arlington National Cemetery. Under them, they gave their lives so 2,100 could live. 27 Filipino guerrillas died holding the line against Japanese reinforcements. Their sacrifice bought the time needed to escape. In the Philippines today, there's a monument to those guerrillas. But yes, he knew. And he went anyway. That's the part that matters. He knew. And he went. Are you angry? That they sent him even though he knew? No, she said. I'm proud. James didn't have to go. He could have refused. Faced court-martial. Been called a coward. But he went, knowing he'd die. Because duty mattered more than life. Do you think he was right to go? Long pause. Then, I think James made a choice. Between living as a coward or dying as a hero. He chose hero. And I have to respect that, even though it cost me my son. Intelligence. Filipino guerrillas provided perfect intel. Speed, 30 minutes. In and out. Sacrifice. Rangers willing to die. Proved it. Result. Mission impossible. Mission accomplished. In 2005, 60 years after the raid, surviving POWs held a reunion. 14 survivors still alive. One survivor, Sergeant Ed Thomas, gave a speech. For 3 years, we thought we'd been forgotten. Thought America had moved on, forgotten about us. Then, on January 30th, 1945, we heard gunfire. Thought Japanese were executing us. Started praying. Then a ranger kicked open our barracks door. Young kid, maybe 22, covered in blood, rifle smoking. He shouted, "We're Americans. We're here to rescue you." I fell to my knees, thought I was hallucinating. But standing in that farmhouse, hearing that Peter had considered them partners, O'Brien finally understood. He hadn't been a coward. He'd been a soldier, adapting to impossible circumstances. A paratrooper who became a spy because that's what the mission required. Michael O'Brien died in 2003 at the age of 83. At his funeral, a letter was read. A letter from the Dutch government, thanking him for his service, thanking him for working with the Dutch resistance, thanking him for remembering Holland. The letter said, Sergeant O'Brien represented the best of the alliance. When lost behind enemy lines, he didn't panic. He adapted. He trusted the Dutch people. And together, we saved lives. At his funeral, his family found a letter he'd written to his children. If you ever wonder what America stands for, remember this. When 2,100 men were about to be executed 30 miles behind enemy lines, 121 Rangers volunteered to rescue them, knowing they'd probably die. They went anyway. That's America. That's what we do. We don't leave people behind. Moral of the story. Sometimes the math says it's impossible. 121 versus 500 plus. 30 miles behind enemy lines. Evacuating 2,100 weak, starving prisoners. Japanese reinforcements coming. Every calculation says, don't try. But you try anyway. Because some things are worth dying for. And 2,100 lives is one of them. Sergeant O'Brien's experience shows that. Heroism isn't always about fighting. Sometimes it's about adapting, surviving, and completing an unexpected mission. Moral of the story. Sometimes the mission changes. Sometimes you land in the wrong place and survival becomes the priority. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is adapt to become something you never trained to be, to trust strangers in a foreign land, and to complete a mission that looks nothing like what you expected.